Okay, you are four, not one. You've been living out of sync, pulled in different directions. A constant push and pull between thoughts, emotions, instincts, and something deeper you can't name. No wonder you feel tired, disconnected, out of tune with yourself. And no, this isn't a flaw in your character. It's the design of your programming. They told you that you're one being, one self, one mind, one body, but that was the first deception. The truth, you are four bodies, four layers, four instruments in the orchestra of your being. And right now, they're all playing in different keys. Your physical body, the earth, the foundation, the vessel, your emotional body, water, flowing, shaping, absorbing, your mental body, air, thoughts, beliefs, imagination, your spiritual body, fire, the spark, the divine code hidden within. These are not abstract metaphors. They are real, energetic systems interwoven and active in you at all times. Systems that ancient initiates studied, mapped, and mastered. But you were never taught this, because when you're fragmented, you're manageable, predictable, exploitable. A fragmented consciousness is a distracted consciousness, and distracted minds are easy to herd. So here's what's really happening. Your body wants one thing, your heart pulls in another direction, your mind races elsewhere, and your spirit barely whispers beneath the noise. This is why you can work hard and still feel stuck. This is why your manifestations short-circuit, why you sabotage your goals, feel disconnected from purpose, and live in loops you can't explain. It's not because you're broken, it's because your inner instruments have never been taught to harmonize. You've been conducting a symphony of chaos, and that chaos feeds a system that thrives when you forget your wholeness. But here's the shift. When you remember the truth that you are not a single note, but a four-part composition, you begin to reclaim your rhythm. You begin to hear your soul's original song, and the moment your four bodies come into alignment, your energy locks into coherence. Your mind clears, your emotions stabilize, your body strengthens, and your spirit ignites. You don't just shift your mood, you recalibrate your gravitational field, because now you're not reacting from scattered pieces, you're responding from wholeness. If you are a living symphony, then it's time you learn to tune each instrument and take back the conductor's baton. The performance begins now. Let's begin where you live, in the only place you've truly ever inhabited your body, the earth body, your flesh, your bones, your skin, your structure. This is not just a biological machine. It is the sacred temple that carries your consciousness across timelines, across dimensions. It is your interface with the physical world. It is the first gate of awareness. But this body is not just matter. It is energy in form, a living, breathing capacitor designed to store, generate, and transmit frequency. Every organ in your body emits an electromagnetic field. Every cell vibrates. Every nerve pulse carries an electric signal. You are not a solid object. You are an electromagnetic organism operating within a planetary field of charge. Your body is not separate from the earth. It is the earth. Walking. Like the earth, your body is designed to attune to natural cycles, to ambient frequency, to vibrational rhythm, and to the subtle electromagnetic dance of life. But here's the crisis. Most people today live entirely disconnected from the frequency field that once shaped us. We eat food grown in depleted soil. We live in boxes under fluorescent lighting. We spend hours in front of screens that flicker in unnatural wavelengths. We breathe shallow air inside climate-controlled silence. We move only when our schedules allow us to. This is not just unhealthy. It is disruptive to the energetic blueprint of the body. Because your body was designed to sync with the Earth's frequency, specifically what's known as the Schumann resonance, a planetary heartbeat, measured at approximately 783 Hertz. This frequency matches your brainwaves in states of meditation, stillness, intuition, and deep cellular repair. This is not coincidence. This is design. Your body is wired to entrain with nature. But here's the problem. If your feet never touch the ground, if your body never absorbs direct sunlight, if your circadian rhythm is hijacked by late-night dopamine loops, if you're flooded daily with cortisol, caffeine, and overstimulation, then your earth body falls out of sync, out of rhythm, out of resonance. And what happens to a building when its foundation weakens? It tilts, it fractures, it collapses quietly, slowly, from the bottom up. Your symptoms aren't random. They're signals: fatigue, insomnia, bloating, brain fog, irritability, low motivation, chronic inflammation. This is your earth body saying you are out of phase. Come home. So what's the solution? Reground. Literally, take off your shoes, step onto the soil. Let your bare skin touch the frequency of the planet. It's not just romantic, it's electrical. The earth is not just soil, it's a field of healing charge. When you touch it, those electrons neutralize inflammation in your cells. Your voltage begins to stabilize. Your body recalibrates. Your nervous system exhales. Add breath. Add movement. Add stillness in nature. And slowly, your body begins to remember. It remembers rhythm. It remembers sunlight. It remembers silence. It remembers sovereignty. This isn't about being disciplined. It's about being electrically coherent. You are the earth in human form. You are not on the planet. You are of the planet. When your foundation is weak, everything above it shakes. Your emotions become dysregulated. Your thoughts become scattered. Your spirit becomes unreachable. But when your earth body stabilizes, everything else begins to rise. Because the earth body isn't just the starting point. It's the supporting structure for your entire multidimensional self. So treat your body as sacred. Feed it light. Move it with reverence. Rest it without guilt. Ground it like a temple. And watch what happens when you begin to walk, not just with purpose, but with powerful frequency, coherence in every step. If your physical body is earth, the structure, the temple, the foundation, then your emotional body is water, fluid, reactive, deeply powerful, and yet highly programmable. You've been conditioned to treat emotions as secondary, as background noise, as messy. irrational distractions to be suppressed, medicated, or managed. But here's the deeper truth. Emotion isn't noise. It's coded movement vibration with a message, and energy and motion is the very currency of attraction. What you feel consistently, you begin to magnetize, not because it's wishful thinking, but because your vibrational field broadcasts a signal and reality simply mirrors it back. This isn't abstract. It's measurable. Your body is more than 70% water. Every organ, every system, every cell suspended in a liquid matrix that constantly responds to emotional frequency. But water isn't passive. It's intelligent. Water doesn't just reflect emotion, it records it. It holds memory. It absorbs vibration. It encodes the unseen. This is the principle behind water memory, a concept long used in ancient purification rituals and now validated by modern science. Take, for example, the work of Dr. Frime, Masaru Emoto. He photographed water molecules after exposing them to different emotional intentions. When infused with words like love, gratitude, and peace, the water formed radiant, crystalline structures, geometric, symmetrical, almost sacred. But when exposed to hate, fear, or chaotic noise, those same molecules collapsed into jagged, disordered shapes. Now ask yourself, if water reacts that dramatically to a word taped to a glass, what do you think happens to the water inside your body when your inner voice repeats loops of shame, guilt, resentment, or fear? You are not just feeling your emotions, you are encoding them cell by cell, breath by breath, and that energetic residue becomes the magnetic field shaping your outer reality. This is why trauma doesn't just live in your memory, it lives in your body, in your fascia, in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the subtle tension behind your smile. Unprocessed emotion becomes stored charge, trapped current, unfinished vibrational cycles that linger in the water body like stagnant pools. And over time, those waters grow heavy, murky, unclear, until you find yourself emotionally reactive, energetically exhausted, not because you're broken, but because your water body is backlogged with uncirculated energy. But here's what they never told you. You can reprogram it. Emotion is not permanent. It is conductive. It flows. It responds. It transforms. And when you bring conscious, non-judgmental attention to your inner emotional waves, you become the alchemist of your own frequency field. Try this. First, feel the emotion, not the story, not the narrative, but the raw sensation in the body. Is it tightness in the chest, a knot in the stomach? Name it. Out loud. This is sadness. This is anger. This is grief. Then, breathe into it. Slowly, gently. Stay present. Visualize the emotion as colored water moving through you, not stuck in you. Ask, what frequency would I like to install here instead? Peace, courage, forgiveness. Imagine pouring that color into the space the old emotion occupied. This is not spiritual bypassing. It's vibrational transmutation. You're not escaping the feeling. You're rewriting the energetic instruction behind it. Because the water body was never meant to destabilize you. It was meant to attune you. It is your resonance chamber, showing you where you're in harmony and where you're out of tune. When your water body becomes coherent, Your outer world begins to reflect that inner clarity. Synchronicities multiply, relationships shift, abundance flows. People respond to your field, not your words, to your frequency, not your resume. Water holds memory, and your body carries an ocean of unresolved stories. But now you know. You can choose which memories get to stay, and which ones through breath, presence, and intention you're finally ready to let flow downstream. Because when your emotions move, your life does too. If the body is earth, and the emotions are water, then the mind is air, invisible, ever-moving, and yet utterly foundational. Air fills every empty space, just as thought fills every silent moment. But here's the part we were never taught. The mind isn't a mirror. It's a lens bending what you believe into what you see. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, is a frequency broadcast. And that broadcast shapes the field around you. This isn't metaphor, it's mechanics. Your brain generates electrical signals. Each thought isn't just mental, it's electrical. A signal that reverberates beyond your skull, writing the next line of code in your timeline. And these waves don't stay locked in your skull. They ripple outward, informing your nervous system, your hormones, your decisions, and ultimately, your timeline. You are not passively thinking. You are actively architecting. The air body is your blueprint layer. And like any architect, if you don't design with clarity, you get confusion, misalignment, collapse. Most people live in thought loops repeating the same patterns of fear, doubt, and limitation, not because they choose them, but because they inherited them. Society programmed them, parents modeled them, media reinforced them. So the mind becomes a hall of mirrors, endlessly reflecting back projections that were never yours to begin with. But here's where power returns. A belief is not a truth. It's a rehearsed frequency. And anything rehearsed can be rewritten. This is where the practice begins. Catch the thought loop. I'm not enough. It never works for me. I don't know how. Interrupt it. Say aloud, cancel. That's not mine. Replace it. Choose a new belief with intention. I am the architect of my experience. Anchor it somatically. Say it while breathing deeply, moving your body, or looking in the mirror. This is not positive thinking. This is neuro-linguistic recoding. This is air alchemy. Because thoughts are not fluff. They are scaffolding. They become architecture. And over time, architecture becomes reality. Your life doesn't reflect what you want. It reflects what you think most often. So let's be honest. Are you thinking by default or by design? The air body invites you to stop reacting from thought and start crafting with it. You are the thinker, the transmitter, the scriptwriter, and every thought is a brick building, the house you live in. You don't think about reality. You're designing it one breath, one belief, one blueprint at a time. If earth grounds you, water moves you, and air shapes you, then fire is what awakens you. This is your fire body, the dimension of pure will, spiritual memory, and sacred volatility. Fire is creation. Fire is destruction. Fire is you, unfiltered. This is the part they fear most. Not your body, not your mind, not even your intellect, but your fire. Because fire doesn't follow. It claims your spiritual fire is your birthright. It is the inner current that remembers who you were before they named you, before the conditioning, before the compromise. But here's the hidden truth. That fire you were told to suppress, that raw, unexplainable force, you were taught to fear the anger, the desire, the chaos. That is your shadow. And the shadow is not your darkness. It's your disowned light. Carl Jung said it best. The shadow is 90% pure gold. It contains your unused power, your unspoken truth, your unmet potential. But society taught you to hide it, to smile when you were angry, to shrink when you should have roared, to be nice instead of real. So what happens? That energy doesn't disappear. It sinks. It settles beneath the surface, smoldering, until one day you snap, you sabotage, you collapse. Not because you're broken, but because your sacred fire has no altar to burn upon. But here's the secret. You can transmute it. When you meet the shadow with awareness, not fear, you reclaim the flame. Try this. Identify the charged emotion, rage, shame, grief. Ask, what power is hidden here? Feel it fully, without story. Channel it through breath, movement, sound. Give it ritual. Give it a container. This is fire alchemy, not to burn your world down, but to forge your next form. Because when you suppress your fire, you become a people pleaser. But when you master it, you become a presence. You radiate truth. You walk with voltage. You stop seeking permission because you are the permission. The shadow isn't where you get lost. It's where you light the match to find your way home. Fire isn't meant to be extinguished. It's meant to be wielded. So, stand in the heat, reclaim the flame, and rise as the light you buried long ago. Nature doesn't rush. It moves in rhythm, in seasons, in spirals. And so do you. You've been taught to see life as a straight line, birth to death, beginning to end. But the soul doesn't move linearly. The soul circles, deepens, returns, again and again, through the same gates, but never in the same way. You are not walking through time. You are rotating through initiation cycles, and they unfold like the 4 seasons. Let's begin with spring, the awakening. This is the season of air, of the mental body. New thoughts sprout. Awareness dawns. You begin to question the world you were given. You feel the first stirrings of remembering. Everything is fresh, exciting, electric. You gather knowledge like seeds, hungry for truth. But here's the trap: spring brings inspiration, not transformation. Too many stay here forever, collecting ideas, but never living them. Reading books, watching videos, nodding in agreement, but afraid to step into the fire. And that's why summer comes. The trial, the test, the season of fire of the spiritual body. This is where knowledge meets confrontation. Do you live what you know? Or do you retreat into the comfort of theory in summer? Everything old begins to burn. Your ego resists. Your relationships shift. Your career trembles. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because initiation always shakes the structure. This is the sacred heat of transmutation. It is not punishment, it is purification. Most people resist the fire. They run back to spring. They pretend they didn't hear the call. But if you stay, if you breathe through the burn, you emerge, changed. Which leads to autumn, the fall, the release, the season of water, of the emotional body. Here, your old identity begins to dissolve. Grief arises. Nostalgia returns. You mourn who you used to be, even if that version no longer fits. This is not weakness. This is emotional shedding, like trees letting go of their leaves. You begin to release attachments, expectations, false masks. The lesson: let go of who you thought you were, to make space for who you're becoming. And finally, winter, the void, the integration, the season of earth, of the physical body. Everything slows. The outer world goes quiet. You may feel lost, heavy, uncertain, but this stillness is sacred. This is the dark night of the soul, not as destruction, but as gestation. This is where wisdom settles in the body, where silence becomes your greatest teacher, where everything you've lived is processed and metabolized. In winter, nothing is blooming, but everything is rooting. And then, almost imperceptibly, spring returns, but not as before, because each cycle is not a circle, it's a spiral. You're not looping, you're deepening. Each spring holds more awareness. Ach summer, more courage. Ach autumn, more grace. Ich winter, more wisdom. This is the journey of individuation. As Carl Jung described it, the spiral path of integrating all layers of the self into wholeness. And like Persephone descending into the underworld and rising again, your soul, too, must descend before it can ascend. You are not a linear timeline. You are a seasonal soul. And the season you're in is not random. Recognize it, honor it, and move with it, not against it. Because the key isn't to rush forward. The key is to rotate in rhythm with the deeper design. You're not walking through time. You're spiraling through the sacred architecture of awakening. You've heard the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. But what if I told you they weren't just stories? What if the Gospels weren't just historical accounts, but energetic manuals, encrypted with spiritual architecture, meant to awaken the 4 layers within you? Each Gospel doesn't just recount a different version of Christ's life. Each one mirrors one of your 4 bodies. Let's break it down. Mark is fire, the Spirit, the gospel of urgency, miracles, action. Jesus in Mark is always moving, healing, casting out, activating. This is your spiritual fire, your will, your inner force, the divine spark that acts without apology. But fire must be refined, like Jesus in the desert fasting. Burning away distraction, you must learn to master your own flame or be consumed by it. Matthew is air, the mind. This gospel is intellectual, full of parables, sermons, teachings. Jesus speaks as a rabbi, a philosopher, a guide of logic and wisdom. This is your mental body, the thoughts that shape your perception. Just as Jesus teaches, he who has ears, let him hear. You must learn to tune your mind to truth, to discern sacred patterns amidst the noise. John is water, the heart, the most mystical gospel, intimate, symbolic, emotional. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh. This is the body of feeling, of intuition, of the subconscious. In John, Christ is the beloved. He turns water to wine. He weeps. He whispers, "Here." Your emotional body becomes the portal when purified. It becomes a conduit for miracles. Luke is earth, the body. This is the gospel of healing. Service. Incarnation. Jésus touche le Père. Eats with sinners. Bleeds on the cross. He is embodied, grounded, human. This is your earth body, your nervous system, your structure, your breath. And it's not less spiritual. It is the temple through which spirit enters the world. Now here's the secret. Just as the four Gospels represent the four bodies, there is a fifth presence that unites them all. Christ, not as a historical man, but as a living symbol, the unifying field. Just as the four letters of the Tetragrammaton Yod, He, Vav, He encode the sacred geometry of manifestation, the Gospels encode the four directions of your being, and Christ the Logos, the archetypal self, sits in the center. The fifth element, the integrator, the still point in the spiral. You are not just reading scripture, you are walking a symbolic path of inner resurrection, because the Christ story isn't something that happened 0 years ago. It's something happening within you right now. Mark is your divine ignition. Matthew is your inner compass. John, your emotional mirror. Luke, your sacred vessel. And Christ remembers who you truly are beneath them all. Jesus is not just a religious figure, he is the model of integrated consciousness, the soul that remembers itself through fire, air, water, and earth, until it becomes light again. Everything is energy. You've heard this before. But until you understand the laws that govern that energy, you'll always feel like reality is happening to you, not through you. Reality is not built on matter. It's built on frequency, vibration, and pattern. And if you want to shift your experience, you must begin at the energetic layer. Let's uncover the 5 foundational laws of energy as taught by ancient mystics, confirmed by modern science, and encoded in the structure of the universe itself. E. The law of vibration. Everything moves. Everything has frequency. This is the first law in both Hermeticism and quantum mechanics. Nothing in existence is static. Not your body, not your thoughts, not even the solid objects around you. Everything is oscillating, sending signals, exchanging resonance. As Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. When you feel fear, shame, or guilt, your frequency lowers. You become dense, closed, and disconnected. But when you align with love, gratitude, and clarity, your field expands. You emit a cleaner signal, and that signal begins shaping the matrix around you. R. The law of energy exchange. Energy is the only true currency. Nothing is free. Every moment, you're in transaction, giving attention, receiving impressions, absorbing vibrations. When you spend hours scrolling, when you engage in drama, when you obsess over fear, you are spending energetic capital, and the return on investment is usually debt exhaustion, confusion, fragmentation. But when you direct your energy consciously toward creation, healing, connection, you don't spend it, you amplify it. Your focus is your fuel, and where attention goes, energy flows. San. The law of words language is code. Words are spells. That's why it's called spelling, because every word carries vibration. Every phrase is a frequency command. Say, "I'm always tired," and your body complies. Say, "Nothing ever works out for me," and the field aligns with limitation. But say, "I am recalibrating. I am open to guidance. I am a vessel of clarity," and watch your reality begin to restructure around those codes. In Hermetic magic, the Logos was the creative principle, the word that became flesh. What you speak becomes the instruction set that your subconscious and the quantum field respond to. So, the law of sacred geometry. Pattern is the language of the universe, from the spiral of a galaxy, to the design of your DNA, to the petals of a rose. All follow mathematical ratios, the golden mean, the Fibonacci sequence, the phi spiral. Ancient temples, pyramids, cathedrals. They weren't built randomly. They were aligned with sacred proportions to create resonance chambers, places where energy harmonizes, magnifies, and evolves. And your own body, a sacred structure, bones, joints, breath, even the pace of your heartbeat, all echo these same codes. When you move, breathe, or meditate in sacred geometrical form, you're not just relaxing, you're synchronizing with the very architecture of Source. Wu, the law of reflection. The mirror reality reflects your inner state, not metaphorically, literally. Just like water reflects light, the quantum field reflects vibration. This is the key teaching of both the Kybalion and quantum observer theory. Your state of consciousness collapses potential into form. So if you carry scarcity within you, attract proof of it. If you vibrate self-worth, you magnetize opportunity. What's in your field becomes what's on your timeline. These 5 laws aren't separate. They work together, in a loop. Each belief you hold emits a frequency like a radio tower, shaping what channels your life can tune into. Your words program your field. Geometry aligns your structure. Life becomes your echo, your energy, the original call, and reality, just the bounce back. You're not just living in reality, you're programming it with every frequency you send. The question is, are you broadcasting by default or by design? You are radiant by design, but unclaimed radiance becomes resource for systems that feed on fragmentation. What if I told you your energy is being harvested, not symbolically, literally? Your thoughts, emotions, attention, and vitality are resources, and there are systems in place, ancient and modern, designed to extract those resources from you without your awareness. This is not conspiracy. This is energetic economy, and it runs on 4 mechanisms. Let's decode them. E. Mental hijacking, the mind as a control panel, your air body, the realm of thought. Belief. Imagination is the first point of intrusion. From childhood, you were programmed, school taught obedience, not creativity. Media shaped your worldview with fear and division. Social structures rewarded conformity, punished curiosity. The result: you think inside a narrative box built by others for their benefit. It's not that you can't think, it's that your mind has been pre-framed. This is why your dreams feel unreachable, not because they are, but because you've been trained to disqualify yourself before you even try. Mental hijacking feeds on doubt, distraction, overthinking. Because a scattered mind cannot focus its frequency, the antidote: reclaim your narrative, rewire your beliefs, speak your own thoughts aloud, then ask, is this mine or installed? R. Emotional exploitation, water as a weapon, your water body. The emotional field is the most responsive and therefore the most exploitable. Emotions are energy in motion, but when manipulated, they become energy in circulation, repeating loops of fear, shame, and outrage that drain you. This is why the news thrives on crisis. Why social media rewards outrage. Why advertising triggers unworthiness, then sells you relief. They aren't selling products. They're selling emotional charge. And every time you react, you generate fuel. They don't need your approval. They just need your attention. Because emotional energy, especially fear, lowers your frequency and keeps you locked in survival. The practice: pause before reacting. Feel. Don't fuse. Transmute. Don't absorb. Emotion is sacred fuel. Stop letting it be siphoned. Sand. Spiritual suppression. The forgotten fire. Your fire body, your spirit, your will, your sacred flame has been buried under dogma, doctrine, and distraction. Organized systems told you God is out there. That holiness is external. That divinity is earned, not innate. Why? Because a sovereign spirit cannot be manipulated, but a disconnected soul, that's a consumer, a follower, a pawn. Spiritual suppression feeds on fatigue, meaninglessness, and external validation. It hides your divine nature behind ritual without revelation. But you are not here to obey. You are here to ignite. The antidote: direct communion with your source. Silence, breath, sacred rebellion. Stop waiting for permission to awaken what's already alive in you. C. Biological containment. The body as a battery. Your earth body. The physical vessel has become the most systematized and most commodified. Modern life depletes the body at every turn. Toxic food, synthetic light, excessive stimulation, emotional burnout, no rest, no rhythm, no connection to earth. Because the more disconnected you are from your natural state, the easier you are to predict, to numb, to contain. Your body is not meant to survive on caffeine and cortisol. It's a biological capacitor, a living, breathing interface for divine intelligence. But when it's exhausted, inflamed, and malnourished, your whole energetic system collapses inward. The solution: move, rest, touch the earth, eat light, breathe slow. Reclaim the body as your altar, not your cage. Now, step back. Each of these four systems: mind, emotion, spirit, body is a channel. And when you're not conscious of them, they become pipelines for someone else's agenda. That's the real matrix. Not made of machines, but of manipulated attention. Every time you fear, hesitate, doubt, or comply, unconsciously you're feeding a structure that does not serve your soul. But the moment you become aware, you break the circuit. You remember. Your mind is your own. Your emotions are not liabilities. Your will is sovereign. Your body, an ancient intelligence misread as machinery. And your energy, it was never meant to be harvested. It was meant to be harnessed. By you, for you. Because once you reclaim the flow, you stop being the battery and become the generator. If your body is the foundation, and your mind the blueprint, then breath is the bridge, the invisible thread connecting the conscious to the unconscious, the inner to the outer, the seen to the subtle. You've been breathing since the moment you were born, and yet no one ever taught you how to use it. Because breath isn't just a biological function, it's a frequency dial, a manual override for your entire energetic system. Here's what most people don't realize. Breath is the only system in your body that is both automatic and voluntary. It works on its own, but you can take control of it any time. That makes it a direct line into your nervous system, a remote control for your state of being. When you're anxious, stressed, overwhelmed, notice your breath. It becomes shallow, fast, erratic. This is not just a reaction, it's a loop, because shallow breath tells the body we're under threat. And the body responds with more adrenaline, more tension, more chaos. But when you breathe deeply, slowly, rhythmically, you send the opposite signal: I am safe. I am centered. I am present. And your body listens. You shift from sympathetic fight or flight into parasympathetic rest. Repère. Regeneration. Your brainwaves slow. Your energy begins to flow again. This is the science behind what mystics have always known. Breath is spirit in motion. Now let's go deeper. There are 3 core patterns of energetic breath you can use. E. Resonant breathing. This is breathing at a rhythm of about 5 breaths per minute. Inhale for 5. Exhale for 5 to 6 seconds. Why? Because this rhythm synchronizes your heart rate variability, HRV, with the Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic pulse of the earth. Resonant breathing entrains your system with the field. You become more coherent, more resilient, more clear. Use this when you need calm, clarity, or to reset mid-chaos. R. Breath hold retention, kumbhaka. This is not just about oxygen. It's about energy, containment. When you inhale deeply and hold, you suspend time. You press pause on your thought loop. You build inner pressure like charging a battery. And when you exhale slowly, You release stored tension with control. Use this when you need focus, power, or to break compulsive patterns. San. Breath reset cycles. This is a short, intentional pattern to reset your emotional field. Example: inhale, fear. Counts. Hold, 2. Exhale, 6. Pause, 2. Repeat for 2 minutes. It recalibrates your vagus nerve and grounds your energy. Use this when shifting emotional state, before speaking, or to realign quickly. Breath is ancient software coded in spirit, transmitted through the body, tuned to the source. Free, precise, always with you. And yet, because it's so close, so constant, we ignore its power. But you don't need more crystals. You don't need another mantra. You don't even need to try harder. You just need to breathe differently. When you master your breath, you master your rhythm. When you control your rhythm, you control your field. And when you control your field, you shape your reality. You don't need anything new, just the one thing that's been with you since your first moment, the breath. Everything you manifest, every result, breakthrough, or block, is not the product of desire alone. It is the outcome of how well you balance the elements within. Just as nature creates through 4 forces, so do you. You are not a mind floating in abstraction. You are earth, air, fire, water. And until these 4 operate in harmony, your manifestations will feel scattered, delayed, or distorted. Let's decode the elemental architecture of manifestation. Step 1. Earth, intention in structure. All creation begins in the earth element, not as soil but as structure, form, boundary, and commitment. Earth asks, what are you building? Where will it land? This is your foundation. It's the calendar you set, the journal entry you write, the space you clear, the physical alignment that says, I'm serious, I'm ready. Without Earth, your dreams remain ungrounded, fantasies. Step 2. Air. Clarify the blueprint. Air brings movement. It is thought, word, language, clarity. This is where you define the why and the how. What belief system will sustain this vision? What story do you need to release? What mental pattern needs to be interrupted? Air is where you speak the vision into coherence. It turns feeling into strategy, idea into intention. But without air, the dream is murky, full of emotion but no plan. Step 3. Fire. Activate with energy. Once the intention is structured and clarified, fire brings initiation. This is where desire becomes action. The sacred yes, the energetic ignition. It's when you press record, launch the project, speak the truth, walk into discomfort. But fire is volatile. If ungrounded by earth or unsupported by clarity, it burns out fast or consumes everything around it. So fire must be focused, al-lasir, not a wildfire. Step 4. Water. Flow. Receive. Adapt. Now comes the water. The realm of emotion, receptivity, and resonance. Water is where your field adjusts to receive. It's where you soften control, dissolve resistance, and become magnetic to what you've already aligned. Water teaches trust. It whispers, let it come to you. Let it move through you. Because without water, you chase, you force, and manifestation becomes performance instead of participation. Water finalizes the cycle. It receives, nourishes, and recycles the creation loop. Integration, elemental flow, earth, gives it a place to live. Air gives it form and meaning. Fire gives it life. Water gives it motion and return. Most people over-identify with one. The fire type jumps in with passion, but burns out. The air type plans endlessly, but never acts. The water type dreams and feels, but resists structure. The earth type builds safety, but struggles with vision. The key is balance, elemental integration. Ask yourself, is my vision grounded, earth? Is it mentally clear, air? Am I energizing it daily, fire? Am I emotionally receptive, water? True manifestation isn't a push. It's a perfectly timed chord played by 4 elemental instruments in harmony. Not whether you have the energy, but whether you've aligned it in the right order. You are not manifesting from nothing. You are manifesting through elemental intelligence. Master the pattern, and reality begins to pattern itself around you. Time, as we've been taught, is mechanical, linear, quantifiable by dates, deadlines, and digits on a clock. But the soul doesn't wear a watch. The soul moves in seasons, not the ones marked by calendars, but by inner cycles of becoming. These seasons don't care what month it is. They don't begin on the 1st of January. They begin with a shift in your state of being. Let's revisit the 4 great phases, not as metaphors, but as energetic signatures alive inside you. Spring, the birth of awareness. This is the time of becoming awake. The veil lifts. New ideas emerge. You feel pulled toward new people, paths, perspectives. Spring is electric. The air feels charged. You're inspired, but not yet anchored. This is not the time for pressure. It's the time to listen, to follow curiosity, to gather seeds without forcing them to grow too fast. In spring, your soul whispers, I remember, there's more. Summer, the bloom of action. This is your season of courage and creation. The heat rises. Energy intensifies. You are no longer dreaming, you are doing. But summer brings the test. Can you withstand the discomfort of change? Can you act in alignment with truth, even if it costs the familiar? This is when old structures crack, when people fall away, when your external life begins to mirror your inner expansion. In summer, your soul says, don't just know it, live it. Autumn, the descent of shedding here. Everything softens. You begin letting go, not because you failed, but because completion is sacred. Autumn is not decay, it's distillation. You harvest listen. You separate signal from noise. You realize some things must fall, so others may root deeper. This is not a time to push. It's a time to listen in the quiet. Your soul murmurs, what is no longer true must be released. Winter, the depth of recalibration. Winter feels like stillness, like silence. But don't be fooled. Beneath the surface, deep restructuring is taking place. This is the soul's hibernation chamber, where identity dissolves so essence can emerge. You may feel disoriented, invisible, hollow. That's normal. In truth, winter is the most sacred season of all, because it prepares you for the spring you can't yet imagine. Your soul reminds you, emptiness is not the absence of life, but the space for it to re-enter fully. But here's the key: these seasons don't unfold the same way for everyone. You may be in summer, in your purpose, but in winter, in your relationships. You may be birthing new ideas, spring, but grieving old versions of yourself, autumn. That's the art tracking your personal soul climate. Don't ask your planner what phase you're in. Ask your nervous system. Ask your breath. Ask your dreams. Where are you forcing? Where are you flowing? Where are you resisting a season that's already begun? Because the soul doesn't need you to rush. It needs you to sink. So pause, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what season am I really in? The answer might just change everything. Time is not just something you manage. It is something you move through. And more importantly, something that moves through you. Each hour of the day is not just a number on a clock. It is a shift in energy, a change in frequency, a doorway that opens and closes, carrying specific effects on your body, your mind, and your field. Ancient systems understood this deeply. Chinese medicine mapped the organ clock. Egyptian priests timed rituals to solar harmonics. Ayurveda aligned breath, food, and awareness with biorhythmic intelligence. In modern life, we bulldoze through time as if every hour is the same. But it is not. And when you move against the flow, your energy fractures. When you move with it, you unlock natural coherence. Let us walk through the rhythm of the day as an energetic blueprint. 5 to 7 a.m. Elimination and emotional clearing primary system. Large intestine energy signature. Release and reset. This is your body's clearing window. After deep sleep, your system is ready to purge, both physically and emotionally. Instead of jumping into your phone or task list, start the day by letting go. What to do? Drink warm water with lemon. Write down lingering thoughts or dreams. Practice light stretching or breathwork. Breathing pattern. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 8. This activates your parasympathetic system and primes your field for clarity. This is not about productivity. It is about alignment. 7 to 9 a.m. Grounding and nourishment primary system. Stomach energy. Signature integration and absorption. Your body is now primed to take in nutrients, physical and energetic. This is the time to ground your intentions for the day. What to do? Eat a warm, balanced breakfast. Avoid screens. Journal your top 3 focus points. Speak a short intention aloud. Breathing pattern. Box breathing. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. This brings calm structure to your nervous system. Morning nourishment is not just about food. It is about feeding clarity and stability into your system. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Focus and decision-making primary system. Heart energy, signature, leadership, and direction. This is your energetic peak. Your alertness is high. Your emotions are clear. Your system is ready for action. What to do? Schedule important calls or decisions here. Speak with clarity. Take bold steps on aligned tasks. Move your body if energy feels blocked. Breathing pattern. Inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale strongly through your mouth. 3 rounds, resets, focus. Use this window to act with direction, not reaction. 9 to 11 p.m. Integration and reprogramming primary system. Triple burner cellular regulation energy signature storage. Reflection. Deep imprint. This is not just downtime. This is your body and mind preparing to encode what you lived that day. Your energetic field becomes more porous and more programmable. What to do? Dim lights at least 1 hour before bed. Avoid content that creates stress or overstimulation. Reflect gently on your day without judgment. Write down one thing to be grateful for. Engage in slow, mindful breath. Breathing pattern. Inhale for 6. Exhale for 6. This balances brain hemispheres and activates deep rest circuits. Sleep is not passive. It is a form of energetic architecture. This is when your system consolidates not just memories, but frequency patterns. Now, take a step back. Each hour is more than a time block. It is a portal, a field, a unique signal that can either nourish or deplete you, depending on how you meet it. You do not need a radical lifestyle change. You only need to ask one question each hour: what energy is available to me right now, and what would it look like to flow with it, not fight it? This is the essence of bioenergetic timing. This is the art of living in tune. Because every hour is a choice, a current, a chance to move, not by pressure, but by precision. Time is not just moving past you. It is inviting you to move with it. Up to this point, you've explored techniques, breathwork, elemental cycles, spiritual alignment, emotional transmutation. But now comes the most important piece: integration. Because real power doesn't come from scattered effort. It comes from designing a system, a living, breathing energy ecosystem that adapts, responds, and renews itself daily. Let's build that system together, not as a checklist, but as a rhythm. Morning, gather and direct. Your first energetic task of the day is not to respond. It is to gather. Before you give to the world emails, people, screens, pressure, you must build your energetic reservoir. This includes breath practices to clear stagnant charge, grounding to reconnect with the earth frequency, a clear, spoken intention for the day, gentle movement to awaken your circuits, light-based stimulation, natural sunlight, color-coded clothing. This phase is not about productivity. It's about priming your field. Think of it like filling a reservoir before the heat of the day. Without this phase, everything you do will draw from depletion. Midday adjust and recalibrate. This is the maintenance phase. As the day moves into complexity, nuance, and momentum, you must course correct. Around midday, your energy becomes reactive. This is where mental clarity and emotional stability often drift. You need a recalibration anchor. Key tools: 5-minute breath reset, resonant or box breathing. Realignment. Check in. What's draining me? What's feeding me? Micro movement, shaking, walking, stretching, sunlight, color and sound tuning, calming blue or yellow tones, grounding frequencies. This phase isn't about adding more. It's about clearing interference so your energy can return to flow. Adjust. Don't push. Realign. Don't hustle. Evening store and encode. This is the most underused energy window. Modern culture treats nighttime as shutdown, but energetically, this is the moment of consolidation. Everything you've thought, felt, and done during the day now begins to imprint onto your field. If you go to bed without intention, you store static. But if you approach this phase consciously, you begin encoding your blueprint. Evening practices, dimmed lighting 1 hour before bed, shift to warm tones. Gratitude scan, name 3 things your field expanded through. Conscious release, what am I not bringing into tomorrow? Gentle breath, 6 count cycles. Slow movement or stillness. Optional scripting, writing the energy you want to wake into. Think of this as energetic architecture. You are setting the tone of tomorrow. Today, the 3-layer system: gather, store, direct. This daily blueprint operates on 3 levels: intentional input, what you allow in thoughts; food, people, frequencies; energetic storage, what you retain, anchor, and build up as inner charge; directed output, what you consciously emit into the world as action, presence, expression. If one layer is missing, the system collapses. For example, if you take in high vibration content input but never store or embody its storage, you'll feel inspired but scattered. Or if you store energy well, but have no clear intention, output, you'll feel heavy, blocked, aimless. Integration isn't about doing more. It's about designing flow. Like a circuit when charge moves in rhythm, everything lights up. Backup system and energy tracking. What happens on off days when routines break or life shifts? Your system needs a fallback pattern, a 10-minute protocol you can deploy anytime. Example: 3 minutes of conscious breath, 3 minutes of silence or visualization, 3 minutes of movement shake, stretch, breathwork, 1 clear spoken intention. This is your energetic reboot. Also, track your field, not for perfection, but for pattern recognition. Each day, ask, what felt aligned? Where did energy leak? What do I want to repeat or release? Write it, record it. Over time, you'll stop guessing. You'll start guiding. You're not just an energy user. You're an energy architect. And when all these practices connect: morning, noon, night, breath, emotion, spirit, body, you stop relying on willpower and start operating from resonant flow. You no longer fear running out of energy because you've become the source itself. A generator, a rhythm, a living ecosystem tuned to truth. What happens when one person awakens? They begin to question, to feel, to remember. What happens when 1,000,000 awaken? The field begins to shift. Old structures tremble. The code of consensus reality starts to break. And when billions awaken, it is no longer evolution. It is a systemic rewrite of the world. You've been told that awakening is personal, but it never truly was. Your consciousness is not isolated. It is networked, plugged into a global frequency grid that connects us all. Imagine the human collective as a neural network. Each individual a living, breathing node of light. Each thought a signal. Each emotion a vibration. Each breakthrough a ripple through the field. When one person raises their frequency, the grid brightens in their sector. But when thousands do it simultaneously, something profound happens. The system overloads, not in destruction, but in expansion. The old bandwidth can no longer contain the new vibration. Old programs collapse under the weight of coherent consciousness. Fear matrices disintegrate. Artificial divisions dissolve. This is not hypothetical. It's measurable. Studies on group meditation have shown crime rates dropping, electromagnetic anomalies appearing during mass intention, random number generators reacting to global emotional events. You are not just affected by the field, you are contributing to it. Right now, your choices matter. Your frequency broadcasts. Your silence speaks. Because when enough nodes resonate at the same harmonic, the system doesn't just shift, it upgrades. That is why awakening feels so difficult at times. You are not just healing yourself. You are processing density on behalf of the whole. You are anchoring light in places where the signal has long been lost. You are stabilizing pathways for others to walk through later. This is what it means to be a conscious node in a planetary web. You stop asking, "Why is the world like this?" and begin asking, "What frequency am I adding to it?" Because when enough people answer that question with truth, love, and coherence, the simulation breaks. Not with chaos, but with clarity. You don't burn it down. You out-vibrate it. That's the real revolution. Not in the streets, but in the field. A war not of weapons, but of waveforms. And the moment we cross the threshold, the moment the grid becomes irreversibly activated reality, is no longer something you live inside of. It becomes something you are actively redesigning. This is not science fiction. This is the trajectory of collective consciousness, and you right now are part of it. You are the node. You are the signal. You are the brushstroke in the new canvas of Earth. So remember, the more you stabilize your field, the more you help stabilize the collective. And when millions begin vibrating in sync, in peace, in clarity, in presence, reality will not collapse. It will reformat. And what comes next is not just a new world. It is a new kind of human. Not controlled, not asleep, not divided, but luminous. Zoverein, awake. Because when humanity remembers its light, the simulation has no choice but to follow. By now, you've seen the map, not just of knowledge, but of remembering. 4 bodies, 4 elements, 1 reality system, all designed not to give you something new, but to reconnect you with what you always were. Your body is earth structure, rhythm, presence. Your emotions are water magnetism, feeling, flow. Your mind is air, intellect, belief, blueprint. Your spirit is fire, will, purpose, divine memory. When these 4 harmonize, You don't just feel balanced, you become luminous. You stop chasing light outside you and realize it's been burning from within all along. You are not fragments. You are not an accident. You are a living convergence of elemental intelligence. You are the canvas. You are the paint. You are the hand holding the brush. And the moment you remember this, everything changes. This is not just spiritual poetry. It's a call to realignment. Because in a world built to divide you from your source, your alignment is your rebellion. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. You now know how energy flows through your day. You understand how your breath modulates your frequency. You've learned how emotions store memory, how beliefs form structure, how your spiritual fire, when denied, becomes shadow, but when embraced, becomes power. You've been handed a blueprint. But here's the truth. A blueprint is meaningless unless it's built. So now, it's time to act. Begin each day not with your to-do list, but with your frequency. Ask, what vibration will I broadcast today? Where is my mind pulling my energy? What emotion am I carrying into the field? What elemental intelligence wants to move through me right now? And from that space, create. Speak. Touch. Build. Anchor. This isn't about being spiritual. It's about being energetically coherent in a world that profits from your fragmentation. You are not here to react. You are here to rewrite the signal. Every breath you take with intention is a recalibration of the field. Every thought you clean and reroute is a line of code rewritten in the simulation. Every act of creation from the soul-rooted self sends out a ripple that rewires the grid. The collective awakening is not coming. It's happening. And your participation is not optional, because you are the frequency holder for a whole future timeline. You are the generator, the node, the architect, and the field is listening. So declare it not as affirmation, but as truth. I am not waiting to be saved. I am here to remember. I am not separate from the source. I am the source. In motion. I am not lost. I am coded in light. And if you've made it here, if something in you knows this wasn't just information, but initiation, then you already know the final truth. You are not lacking color. You only forgot that you were holding the brush all along.